What's good, beautiful people? It's your girl Tay, and I'm here yet again with another update video. So we're going to be talking about a lot of different things today. We already know the stimulus payments are going out, but before we get into that, definitely make sure you smash that like button, comment down below, subscribe, plus push your post notification bell button so that way anytime I upload a video, you will be notified. So as I said, you guys, first things first, everybody should have already, well, not everybody, but most people should have started to get good news. Stimulus checks did start to drop into people's bank accounts, showing as pending yesterday. For some people, it was pending and they didn't even realize it, and then by the time they went and checked their account, it had actually been released and available for them to use. I do suspect that they're going to continue this first wave of stimulus check deposits through next week, and then they're going to start doing the mailing of the checks and the economic impact payment cards by March 29th, or at least so I think so. We know currently right now the Get My Payment portal is down. However, a statement was released yesterday providing some guidance on when we will be able to use that portal to track our stimulus payments. It says those awaiting the arrival of the third stimulus payment, which could start being deposited as soon as this weekend. We already know that that's happening. We'll soon be able to track its status on the Internal Revenue Service's website. Like the other two stimulus payments, you can track the status of yours using the IRS's Get My Payment tool. However, excuse me, the tool is not yet available for the American Rescue Plan payment, as the IRS needs time to review the law's tax provisions. Treasury officials said Friday evening, which is yesterday, the tool would be available starting Monday, March the 15th. Those with direct deposits set up with the IRS will receive their payments first. After those deposits, the IRS will mail paper checks and prepaid debit cards to everyone else who qualifies. The Get My Payment tool will tell users what type of payment they can expect. Users have reported problems using the tool in the past. The IRS said previously that the system can get overwhelmed when too many people use it. So I know there's going to be a lot of people saying that they're trying to get on the Get My Payment and it's probably telling them to check back at a later time. That is going to happen right around this time last year when everybody were getting their first stimulus payment. I know even I had issues with my bank, which is not connected to the Internal Revenue Service, but I suspected because so many people were checking their online banking information that those systems became overwhelmed. So I'm just telling you guys to brace yourself and expect that the same thing most likely is going to happen this time around, especially now that they have released a date. That's the first thing everybody who hasn't already received their payment this weekend via direct deposit is going to do is look to check the Get My Payment tool first thing Monday morning, okay? After those deposits, the IRS will mail paper checks and prepaid debit cards to everyone else who qualifies. The Get My Payment tool will tell users what type of payment they can expect, okay? It says previously the IRS has updated the tool once a day. If there is no update on the status of a payment, then users can check again the next day. So like the Where's My Refund tool, there is no need for you to check the Get My Payment tool more than once a day. When the tool does go online, it will not show the status of the first two stimulus payments. So you will no longer be able to see any information on the first two stimulus payments that we received last year. People who were eligible for those but have yet to receive either the first stimulus payment or the second stimulus payment should have, if you haven't already claimed that on your 2020 tax returns, if you've already filed them as a recovery rebate credit. Okay, so that's all the information on that. I definitely think that's some good news to look forward to. Like I said, I'm pretty sure everybody's happy. For those of you who already got your stimulus checks, I highly suggest that you do something else other than going and buying that brand new 60-inch TV. And whatever that may be. Now, I have to keep telling you guys, I am not a financial advisor. I am not a CPA or none of that, you know. But I do think that considering the circumstance and everything that everybody went through last year, that it's time for everybody as a whole to start making better decisions and choices for our family for the future. Because as we've seen, at the end of the day, the only people we can rely on is ourselves, our close friends, and our family, and sometimes not even them. Okay, so I encourage you guys to do whatever you need to do to keep your family afloat. But if it is possible that you guys save that money for a rainy day, okay? Now, to update you guys on what happened in terms of my 2020 tax return, hopefully you guys got a chance to check out my last 3 videos. I think they were definitely informative to you guys, but there was a mass update yesterday. I remember telling you guys that in a previous video where I was talking about the cycle code. So usually if your cycle code is ending in 05, then that means that your account updates weekly. So 9 times out of 10, something will change or get updated in the system by Friday. Usually, possibility they may how it works is if you update on a Friday, which people with a cycle code of 5 will usually update in the system on a Friday to have a deposit by the following Wednesday. And I believe for the other 4 cycle codes, it is on a Tuesday to be deposited on a Saturday, or on a Saturday to be deposited on a Tuesday. I'll try to look into that again and then correct that if that's incorrect. But I know for sure for people who are a cycle code of a 5, they generally get an update in the system on a Friday. If there is a deposit, refund that is due, then that is generally paid out on the following Wednesday. So in this case, for everybody who may have received their transcripts available as of yesterday, which was the 12th, 9 times out of 10, you should be able to see a date all the way at the bottom of your account transcripts that says refund issue, and then it will give you a date. It should say March 17th. Not saying it's a guarantee, but for the most part, that's what you should have. That's the information that I got yesterday. I did check my transcripts online, and I was able to see that all 4 of my transcripts are now complete. I was able to also call in yesterday. So let me go through that with you guys. So I did call in yesterday. For those of you who keep asking me the number that I'm calling and the way that I do it, let me give you the number really quick, because a couple of you, I've mentioned it in a previous video. The number I call to get in contact with someone at the IRS is 1-800-829-0922. Now, the way that I do this is I wait until the end of the day. I wait until between 5:30, sometimes later. I've called even after 6 o'clock. I've called at 6:30 because they're still open until 7 p.m. So you want to call later in the day. If you try to call first thing in the morning, that's when everybody is calling. Realize that everybody around the United States is calling the same 800 number. However, we're all on different time zones. So by the time, I know for me in California, while it's 7 o'clock for me, it may already be 9 o'clock or way past the time, 7 o'clock in another state. So there are not as many calls in the queue at that time. So that's why I called later on in the day. You're still going to not most likely have to wait on hold before you speak to somebody once you go through all of the prompts, but you will speak to somebody. It doesn't kick me out. It hasn't failed me yet. And I've done this pretty much for a week now. So yeah, I did call yesterday. I called around 5:30 in the afternoon. I called that number that I just gave you. I hit 1 for English, and then I pressed the option that says, did you receive a letter or a notice in the mail? I have not received a letter or a notice in the mail, but that is the option that I use. So I hit the number that is associated with that prompt. Then it's going to go through a series of topics. And then I think it says in the first prompts, it says, press 3 if you don't hear your topic or if this doesn't pertain to you. It says if it's something else, press 3. So then I press 3. After that, it prompts you to put in your social security number and then verifies that they heard your social security number correctly. Then you get a different voice that comes on and reads off 7 topics. Once she reads off the 7 topics, and it says, if you have not heard your topic, please stay online. So I stay online. I don't press anything. Then there's another bit of information that comes on after that. And then it says something like, if you agree with what's on the notice, if you agree with the amount of money that you owe, then press 1. I don't press anything, and then it automatically kicks me into the queue, in which another voice will come back on and tell me that they're helping other customers and that my approximate wait time is between 15 and 30 minutes. So I hope that you guys were able to get that. That is what I use, but I always wait until later on in the day to do that. Now, for the actual phone call. So I called yesterday. I was able to get through, spoke to a gentleman who told me that my return, as far as he could see, has been complete. Now, when I checked the Where's My Refund tool yesterday, I didn't see any information. I didn't even go to look at the Where's My Refund tool, because we know that as of lately, the Where's My Refund tool is still not updating for everybody. For some people it's updating and for others it's not. So when I checked the Where's My Refund tool yesterday, even after I had checked my transcripts and saw that my transcripts had been updated, the Where's My Refund tool was still saying your refund is being processed and a date will be provided when available. Nothing changed. So I called in and said, hey, gave them that exact information. I said, hey, you know what? The Where's My Refund tool hasn't updated yet. I would like to know what's going on. Another thing that I wanted to know was what banking information that they had on, in their system. So he was able to tell me that the status of my refund has changed, and hopefully I should have some good news by next week, March 17th. Okay, so that's it for me when it comes to the 2020 taxes. Now, I remember telling you guys that I was also going to speak to someone in the economic impact payment department to see, for those of us who still have our 2020 tax returns processing, a good rule of thumb that I'm going to suggest that you guys still go off of. However, I believe that you'll get a lot more clarity next week when you check the Get My Payment tool. It should either tell you whether you're expecting a check or whether you are expecting a a deposit. Now, sometimes the system in the past has said that a person is receiving a check when in fact they actually were receiving a debit card. So I just want you guys to be aware. I'm not sure if they have updated the system to where it would actually tell you that you are going to be receiving an economic impact payment card. It may just still have the two options, check or a deposit. So if it says check, then I would just be on the lookout for either a actual check or a payment card. Okay. Another good thing to note for those of you who have had, went to one of those major companies like H&R Block, TurboTax, TaxSlayer, Jackson Hewitt, or whatever. If you guys have received a tax refund advance, then know that that information that pertains to their bank is going to be on file with the IRS. Meaning, for the sake of your stimulus payment, there's a possibility that your money may actually go into that account, in which hopefully it gets rejected and sent back to the IRS, and they'll send you a check in the mail because they don't have deposit information on file. But I suggest that you guys, if you're in that situation, that you do contact whoever is your tax preparer and see what type of protocol they have in place for this situation. I know several people who have that situation has been calling in, and the tax preparers are pretty much giving them the runaround. They don't seem to be confident in what they're saying. The same as the IRS. They don't really know what to say to people this time around. But I know that people are waiting for their tax return, and if they're not expecting their tax return right away because we know IRS is behind, then they're relying on now their stimulus payments. And if their stimulus payments is going to end up going into the wrong account, then that's going to be a whole nother fiasco. So I highly suggest that if you guys are in that situation, that you do your due diligence, contact your tax preparer and see what type of protocol that they have in place for that. Are they going to reroute it to your bank account, because your direct deposit account is on file with your tax preparer? It should be, if that's the option that you opted for when you did file your taxes for either 2020 or 2019. However, for those of you who are still in review, still in processing, then that means that the Economic Impact Payment Department is going to go off of the information that is available. So if in 2019 you had direct deposit information, 9 times out of 10 you're going to get direct deposit for your stimulus. If, however, you didn't have direct deposit and you opted for a mail check, then most likely you're going to get a mail check or a card. Okay, so I hope that information did some way try to cut down on the confusion that's possibly going to start as of next week, because there's just so many possible scenarios and situations that could flare up as a direct effect of everything that's going on with the pandemic. People not claiming their refunds, people getting the cards, people having tax refund advances. I mean, there's just so much. But now, to jump back on board with my regularly scheduled program, you guys know I like to give you the names of the states that have currently been approved for pandemic EBT 2020-2021 school year. I have, as of yet, and I know that you guys are probably going to be sick of me saying this, seen anything for California. I have checked California Department of Education, and I know that they had some guidance on there stating that all of the residents in California needed to update their information with their children's school by March 12th, which was yesterday. So I'm hoping that they release some information, or that they're updated to be included in this year's list of states that have been approved by Monday. There's no guarantee, but I do know that yesterday was a what do you call it, the deadline for you to get your information updated, so that way when they do start sending out PEBT cards for California, they'll have the most up-to-date information on file. Okay. But as of right now, for sure, name of states that have currently been approved, we have Arizona, Connecticut, Delaware, Florida, Illinois, Indiana, Kentucky, Massachusetts, Michigan, Minnesota, Nebraska, New Mexico, North Carolina, North Dakota, Ohio, Pennsylvania, Puerto Rico, Rhode Island, South Carolina, Tennessee, Vermont, Virginia, Washington, West Virginia, and Wisconsin. So that is it when it comes to pandemic EBT. Now, for the current emergency SNAP allotments for the month of March, I'm going to give you those names as well as the payout dates. And just like I've been telling you in previous videos, it is not completely in alphabetical order. So you're going to have to listen through from beginning to end just to make sure that you don't hear your state, okay? California, April 18th. Colorado, March 7th through the 12th. DC, March 10th and April 3rd. Alaska, March 1st through the 10th. Hawaii, April 12th. Illinois, March 23rd through the 31st. New Jersey, March 1st through the 5th. Iowa, regular issuance dates. Wisconsin, March 20th. And then latent reinstated cases, May 8th. Indiana, March 5th through the 23rd, odd days staggered. Oregon, March 10th and March 30th. Kansas, April 15th through the 24th. Maine, March 10th. Maryland, all month long, depending on your regular schedule. Issuance date, Montana, you should have received between March 2nd and the 6th. Rhode Island, March 4th. Vermont, April 15th. Virginia, March 16th. Washington, regular issuance dates. West Virginia, March 4th. Wyoming, between March 1st and 5th. Alabama, January allotment and March allotment will be deposited on March 31st, available April 1st. Georgia, March 25th, 26th, 29th, and 31st. Kentucky, March 2nd through the 19th, according to the regular schedule. And the last of your social security number. New applications will be provided these benefits the first day after approval. Mississippi, March 2nd, and then new applications will be provided these benefits 2 days after approval. Missouri, March 1st through the 22nd. North Carolina, March 22nd through the 31st. South Carolina, March 1st through the 19th, and then March 1st through the 31st for new applications. Arizona, March 1st. Louisiana, March 4th, 11th, 18th, and 25th. New Mexico, staggered all month long. Texas, March 8th through the 12th. Utah, March 28th. Florida, March 11th. Hold on, you guys. I'm getting through it. Guam, March 26th. Idaho, April 11th through the 15th. Michigan, March 20th. Nevada, I still haven't seen any payout dates for you. So if you guys are from Nevada and you have that information, please leave it in the comment section below. Sharing is caring. New Hampshire, March 5th, 9th, 16th, 23rd, and 30th. Oklahoma, March 10th through the 15th. Pennsylvania, March 17th through the 20th, 23rd through the 27th, and then a final run May 7th. Tennessee, March 1st through the 20th. Connecticut, March 17th, 19th, 26th, and then every Friday until they get caught up with all of the March apps. Delaware, March 24th. Nebraska, April 6th. New York. Okay, so for New York City, it'll be March 16th through the 20th, and then the 23rd through the 27th. Rest of the state will be March 8th through the 11th, and then March 14th through the 18th. North Dakota, March 8th, depending on if funds are available. So you should have already received your disbursement for this month. Ohio, March 25th. And then last but not least, South Dakota, April 23rd. New apps, depending on the date of approval, will be either April 23rd or April the 30th. So that is all. I hope that information was in some way helpful or useful. I think that we all have reasons to smile right now. We may not all have everything that we want, but we're definitely getting some of the things that we need. So definitely remember to live, love, and elevate. And I will most definitely see you guys in the next video. Oh, if you guys don't mind, just because I think, again, sharing is caring. We all need a little bit of hope and joy. So for those of you who have already started to receive your stimulus payments, please drop that information if you feel comfortable down in the comment section below, and let us know what bank you bank with. Again, if you feel comfortable, you ain't got to give us your account number. We don't need none of that. We just want to know if it's a major bank or if it's not a major bank, if it's a BOA, Bank of America, Chase, Wells Fargo, or if it's a prepaid card, if you got the Rush card, if you got the I forgot what that other card is called that you can get from Walmart. But you guys get what I'm saying. Definitely leave that information below. I appreciate you guys, and I will see you in the next video. Peace.